Welcome to The Exclusive. I'm your host, Sharon Tharp. I'm back to break down week 9 of Big Brother 25. I'm here with a very special guest. I don't think it's any secret that I was a huge fan of hers. Izzy. Izzy, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sharon. No, I'm stoked about it.
Thank you so much. I got a ton of questions for people. Let's just dive right in. Well, first of all, I guess, how's it been? You've been home for about 2 weeks now. How's it been? How's adjusting to life?
I don't know how much adjusting there's been. I still feel super connected to the house and definitely having trouble disconnecting to all of the live feeders out there. I'm sorry to disappoint. I have had to watch less live feeds in the last week. It's been pretty difficult, actually. So
I mean, you have to take care of yourself first, especially with a game like this. So if you can't watch the live feeds, we'll take it, Izzy. You just got to take care of yourself. Yeah, have you just been kind of like looking at what's going on? Have you been watching the episodes?
Yeah, I've been watching the episodes. I'm not fully caught up on the beginning of the season. I've watched about the first 2 weeks, the first 2 evictions, and then I watched my eviction week. I just had to know. And but yeah, I'm scrolling on Twitter. So for all of you that care, I am scrolling through Twitter and keeping updated through clips and stuff. But I was being pretty consumed by the live feeds. So yeah, I had to stop.
Yeah, it's a lot. I know everyone, I'll just get this question out of the way because everyone wants to know, who have you spoken to from the cast? Have you spoken to Jared, for example? He's only been home for a couple days, but
yeah, I have spoken to Jared and I have spoken to Riley. And yeah, that's about it from the cast that I've spoken to personally. So
yeah. And I know you were a little disappointed in Jared a little bit. I think we all were, but I did my exit interview with him. He seems like, he's willing to grow, learn, apologize. Obviously, time will tell with these things, but yeah, you don't have to actually say like what you guys talked about, but do you think he'll learn and grow from this experience?
Absolutely. And I think that all of us are learning and growing from this experience. That's been a lot also of my journey over the last 2 weeks being home, is learning about myself and promising myself that in life, and also potentially, hopefully getting to play a game like this again, that I will also be a person that is better and will have learned from myself in the house.
This game will especially do that. And I like to hear that you're interested in playing again, Izzy.
In there.
People keep asking, Jared told Cirie that you were the one that told Blue the secret. What do you think about that? It's pretty funny.
I guess I was comforted that Cirie shut that down right away. Because just why would I tell Blue? Why would I, anyway, of all people, why would Blue have been the person that I told?
Right.
That's okay.
Doesn't really make sense, but
yeah.
Has your opinion on anyone changed since being outside the house and seeing everything? Or are you trying to digest?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if my opinions have like changed on people. I felt in the house like I had a really good read on who people were and how they were playing and things like that. And I guess just being home, a lot of that has been confirmed,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not too shocked by things that are going on in the house or things that I'm learning about people.
Before I dive into a couple more questions about like Big Brother specific, anyone from any cool alumni that I've reached out? I saw you were hanging out with Carla from Survivor.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of love from the Big Brother and Survivor communities, which just like warms my heart. And so I'm feeling very supported at home by the family. And so that that feels really good. Yeah, I'm stoked to show up to some Survivor viewing parties. We all know that I love Survivor. And so I'm happy to be a part of that world a little bit now too. I get to fangirl like the best of them. So
and you're also besties with a legend now. Like, it's pretty cool.
Yes.
So real quick, how did you go from Survivor to Big Brother? Was it because casting, or because you were like, let me try it out, or Cirie, or like what?
In terms of like playing?
No, in terms of like actually watching the show. Were you already in the casting when you were doing it?
No, I had, it was, everything had shut down in the pandemic, and my girlfriend Paige was like, I can't believe you haven't seen the show Survivor. You're going to love this. Like, this is going to be everything. And so we started watching Survivor, and I was like, holy crap, I love this. And even from that moment, it was like something, this is kind of how I describe like me discovering that I wanted to play the flute, is like, I don't really know what it was, but I just felt like I had to do this thing. And I felt that very soon watching Survivor. I was like, oh man, I think I can do this. Like, I want to do this. And so just in my love of these sort of social experiment games, you know, Big Brother was the next, okay, got to dive into Big Brother. And yeah, and I binged it. I know everyone wants to know. I was slightly misquoted. It's like, not that big a deal. That seems like
Well, it's like hyperbole, like, oh, I watched it in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like everyone does that.
It's also just like clear. I would like to think that my actions on the show proved that I knew the game as good as anyone else in there. But yeah, I just binged basically season 10 to present, because I got to admit, before season 10, a little cringy to me. I can't, it's hard. So, and yeah, some of it twice because I just loved it. And in the midst of that training, as I call it, I sent in a tape and got called, and yeah, so that was my journey with Big Brother. Yeah.
Amazing. And you're still interested in Survivor?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yes.
And maybe like a little Fields Amazing Race. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. It might be the most entertaining first leg of the race you've ever seen.
Okay, so you go out on Cameron's HOH. We all know this. You tell him he's next, which he was. Well, I have to assume that was nice to see. He went out pretty much right after you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I can't say that I'm surprised maybe that he's HOH again. I'm disappointed that he's also, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but we know what happened with the veto. I think that it's his nominees are a little obvious and a little weak. But he talks a big talk about not liking the back door and all this stuff. He loves it. I mean, it's a part of the game, you know, like everyone loves it. And whatever he's saying to people about the fact that he hasn't thought about it, that's crap. Like, we've all thought about it. I've thought about it. I'm on my couch and I've thought about it, you know? So we've all thought about, you have to think about a replacement option, you know, whether or not it's a real backdoor or not. You have to think about that. So I guess as of this morning, my updates are that maybe he's gonna target Corey for this backdoor. I mean, he has all power this week, so he really gets to do whatever the hell he wants, which could be scary for the house because he's pretty unreliable, I guess, or, you know.
Yeah. I think we'll find out more when we see his DRs tonight, but yeah, he puts up Felicia and Mimi. He gives her this story. He doesn't want her on the jury. And, you know, we're all buying it. And then this is Cameron. Like, I think he likes to surprise. So yeah, I don't know if, you know, this replacement nominee's got to be a thing. I don't know.
He's here for the drama and the narrative, you know, and he can paint. He likes to talk, right? Like, he can talk in circles around you about all these stories. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does for sure.
It's funny. I don't even know if Corey's the best person for him to target. I feel like he's a comp win. He's gonna have to win to the end, and he's got Matt and Jag, and they're also winning comps. So it just doesn't really make sense, right? I don't know.
Now they've got this. What are they? The Fugitives?
Fugitives, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Now the Fugitives are, all together, and I think he feels comfort in that. You know, I mean, I think those are maybe three people that only view the game seriously through a comp lens. And so I don't think they have any idea how someone could get to the end if they're not going to just win a bunch of comps. So I think they're finding a little bit of comfort in each other's like-mindedness in terms of strategy in the game, you know?
Yeah. I do want to say in this zombie week, I think Cirie used this week really smart. She, you know, basically ingratiated herself back in the house, made some amends because people were really after her last week. And so I think she used the week to do some things. What did you think about that? Because she's on the target right now.
Oh no, she was going to work. I mean, like, I was convinced that Cirie would be very much next in people's minds. But no, she seems not to be. I mean, I think she is hands down the best social player in the game right now. When we started, always will be, you know. And yeah, she was really able to get in people's minds, and she's just such a good listener, you know, that people feel really heard and people feel really safe.
Yep.
You know, telling her things, and they stumbled themselves into truths that they didn't mean to, and they stumbled themselves into things where like she's absolutely smart enough to read between the lines. So she knows everything at this point, I think. Yeah, she seems to be sitting a little bit pretty right now, at least for jury. So
Yeah, as unless Cameron does something crazy, which is not out of the realm of possibility, I suppose. But in terms of what do you think Cirie has to do now to get to the end? Like, have you thought about, okay, who should she be working with? Who should she avoid?
I mean, it's hard because like I was saying this when I was in the house, it's hard when you're working so hard to create something in one way and you're just not getting an open door, you know? And so I feel like even with Mimi and Felicia, she's been working so hard and they're just not answering the door, you know? And it's like, I know that Mimi and Felicia are on the block right now, but with the potential of Corey going home, you know, I think those three could really, finally, if they could work together, could do something. The problem is Matt and Jag are always going to take each other, like always. And I was saying this from the beginning when Matt used that power on Jag. I was like, that's it. That's the only bit of information we have to know. They are ride or dies. The Minutemen, let's just laugh about that for a second. But
Name that their alliance.
oh God, do they know what that means? Anyway, so yeah, so I think like as much as Cirie feels like Matt is her guy, Matt is Jag's guy. You know, I think so. I think she's in a tough spot in terms of getting to final two chairs. And Corey and America, I mean, like they've never wanted to work with Cirie. That was also like something that kind of broke my heart because I still think that could have been a successful, tight alliance, you know, and that never came together. And so I think, yeah, I don't know. I think it's precarious right now. The web has been blown open and people aren't really willing to like commit to certain things to now kind of go against each other, which is tragic to me.
Yeah, I mean, they don't realize the end game's so many physical comps that like you wouldn't want to go against people that are winning too. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
You and Corey, of course, had an interesting relationship in the house. What do you think about his position right now? Like we kind of said, he might go on the block, he might be going home, but can you see a path to the end for him?
I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, he keeps, I mean, I think a little bit because of America, he keeps really trying with Jag and Matt, but they haven't wanted to work with Corey. Like they were naming massive alliances in the beginning and Corey was always an afterthought or never a part of them and all these things. Like he will always be at the bottom. And unfortunately, I think in this house this season, if you make a big move, you're not like feared, you're then the next target, right? And so I think people are still talking about my eviction. It's incredibly frustrating, but people are still talking about my eviction in the house. You know, Corey, whatever Cameron wants to think, I take solace in the fact that Cameron really had very little to do with my eviction. And so I think Corey is still having to like answer for how that all went down. And so I think, yeah, funny enough, like in my eyes, we could have easily gotten to 7 and 6 and battled it out. And he's at the bottom of the house right now. So anyway, should have kept me, Corey. That's what I think about that.
Yeah, actually, your eviction is still making waves because like the whole Felicia versus Cirie thing out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I mean, they seem to be okay, but they're not in the best place. And now Felicia, who knows what's going to happen? She might end up going home. So, but yeah, who did we not talk about? Oh, Mimi and Bowie. Any thoughts on their games?
Mimi, I love Mimi. Like I think Mimi is hands down one of the smartest people in that house. I've loved learning what she actually does for a living. And that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think like that same like politician in her was something that I found frustrating when we were playing together, you know, where like we would be in these conversations going back and forth about like our perspectives on who we should send home. And then it would get down to it. And I would hear all of her points and I would be like, great, Mimi. So it sounds like you want to vote out X. And she would say, oh no, well, I didn't say that. It doesn't matter to me. It's whatever. I'm not making the decision. It's like, God,
Very political answer.
So political. And like, so I think she's like living in that moment where she's like potentially going to burst. I mean, her storage room, like alone time is getting maybe more and more intense in some ways. And so I'm worried that Mimi has kept sort of the leader in her at bay for too long, and that, you know, she might go a little wild. But I think Mimi has it in her to win this game. Like Mimi is one of the people that I think at this point can win this game. I want her to be more aggressive, I guess.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. She's got to turn it on soon.
Yeah.
Probably now since she's on the block.
Yeah, like let's go. Let's go. I'm full. I love Mimi, you know, like I'm totally still team Mimi. Like anyway.
Yeah. Bowie's found herself in The Fugitive somehow, but
oh right. Yeah, I mean that's Bowie's game. That's Bowie's game. She'll like hang out somewhere and everyone's like, oh yeah, Bowie's here, you're in it too, you know. So yeah.
Oh wait, and then I forgot Blue. Do you think she has a path to the end?
I think if like Matt or Jag, even Cameron realize that, like maybe even Mimi, like if some of these like bigger players sort of realize that they have great cases against Blue in the end, like they should maybe keep her around, you know, like maybe she's a great layup for a lot of people, you know. But I think she also feels disposable. And since this is a house that doesn't, even now, as we're getting to single digits, doesn't want to expose their hand or where they really lie or how they really want the game to shape up, then like I think she's an easy go at some point soon.
I think the next HOH will be really telling of how the game's
going to say that every week.
I know.
It's just so yeah. It's just so funny because this season has just been, I mean, for the first 5 weeks, no matter who was HOH, me or Cirie ultimately made the decision as to who was going home. And then maybe once that was revealed, people freaked out. And now it's like, oh no, we can't go against HOH. We just can't go against HOH. And it's like, I don't know. HOH after veto has like no power really.
Right,
you know?
None.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
No, you're right. I have been saying this. I'm like every week, but this cast especially, you guys, you know, every week it's been fun to watch because it switches up. But yeah, you never know. Let me get this question out of the way. You know, you talked about, I think in our exit interview, or was it mine? I don't know. But you had said that you stood by the decision to get rid of Hisam. Do you still stand by that? Has your opinion changed at all?
Look, like in terms of retrospect, like I could list an infinite number of things that I would have done differently or said differently, but it's like you're only making decisions based on information and scenarios that you can see given specific information that you have like in that moment. And for a lot of reasons, I do still stand by the Hisam vote. Of course, like, I don't know why it's got to be Hisam. We had Cameron on the block like every damn week, you know, like getting Cameron on the block used to not be the problem, you know? And so you could say that about Riley, but the issues with Riley staying in the house and who she was working with, I know they're still in the house, but I think there have been other mistakes. That was really scary for us. With Hisam was already eating his own, you know, like it was already, I refused to be considered someone that was a step behind. So I wanted to be a step ahead all the time. And I know people are going to comment about that because I got evicted. And so, you know, you weren't ahead, but this was, you know, at the time it was the right decision. And, I stand by that decision. I would say that wasn't my biggest mistake. You know, like the reason I got evicted was not the Hisam vote in terms of stuff that I could have done better.
Was there anything big or were there a bunch of little things, do you think?
I mean, I think ultimately the truest, like biggest mistake was that I overestimated my relationship and connection to Corey, and I underestimated his relationship to America. I think it started out that way. Like the way that I viewed people in the house now are saying, Izzy talks all the time. Well, yeah, I was one of the people that made a point to have conversations with everyone in the house every day. But there were only 3 people, Cirie, Corey, and Jared, that I actually told the truth to, or like wasn't just gossiping, or like was actually talking strategy with. And Corey was really one of those people. And in my head, I didn't quite see when it transitioned away from me being the person that he wanted to work with and transitioned to America. Of course, in retrospect, I know exactly when that happened.
Yeah.
And I just overestimated our working relationship for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, he made it okay to question America when we started talking, and he made it okay that we were putting ourselves strategically above other people, and therefore we could talk about when we were going to evict America, and I missed when that stopped being
And that changed. Yep.
I missed it, and I will kick myself for that. America is Corey's Cirie, and Cirie was always my Cirie. Like we were each other's number 2, and knowing that would have changed definitely how I did things related to talking about America. And I just, I botched that for sure. So I'll have to live with that. And I take a lot of responsibility for my eviction because of that. And I know that. So,
I mean, hindsight is 2020. We're sitting on our couch like, oh, that was, but when you're in it, I don't think, you don't see everything, but
you do not. You do
not. Can you talk a little bit about, you told me in your exit interview that you wanted to go to final 3 with Cirie and Jared, that you saw yourself sitting next to Jared in the final 2 chairs. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you kind of saw that?
I think when it comes down to the type of comps that come down to the final 3 to get final HOH, I feel confident that I would have had a good shot at winning those. It's something that we talked about as the 3 of us, and me and Cirie talked about it. I was very honest with her about the fact that I understood the nuance of our relationship and of their relationship, and that I was not naive, that he's her son. I mean, I understand that she wants her son to win. She wants herself to win. And I recognize that. But I felt confident. I won't get into too much detail just out of respect of larger things, but I felt confident that I would at the very least get to decide who is going to sit in those final 2 seats. And my plan was to be able to have played in such a way that I wouldn't need her vote, that I would have the jury votes and she could still vote for Jared to win, and that I still had potential to win in that scenario. And maybe that's a little fantastical. And of course, I don't know how things would have shaped up as we got down to 3. But by the time I was evicted, that was my plan. And I was playing for myself. And I thought I had a good setup for that.
Did you have fun in there, Izzy? Do you look back and are you still stressed about it? Or are you okay, this was a good experience. I enjoyed it.
No, I enjoyed every single second of it. I even enjoyed the punishments. I enjoyed everything. And I laughed the other day reading a transcript of a moment that Corey and Cirie had in the house where they were like, oh, I'm bored. I'm miserable. I hate this. I hate this. And Cirie goes, Izzy was the only one that could game 100% of the time and have fun 100% of the time. And I was like, yes, that was my experience. Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
I love hearing that. Okay, so I think I know the answer, but who are you rooting for, and who do you think has the best chance right now to win?
I'm rooting for Cirie, obviously, but it's hard. I think right now, Matt, Cameron, maybe Mimi have set kind of equal shots to win for very, very different reasons. So
yeah, I think you might be right. I mean, not to say Cirie can't get there, but then we also have the jury, which is interesting, of 7 people. And I feel like it's now going to be it's going to be several people who really value comps, which is interesting. So
yes, really value comps and really value, maybe understand friendships over strategy a little bit better.
Yeah. Did you ever watch The Traitors? Did you see, because that was just this year, so I wasn't sure if you watched that.
I hadn't finished it, but I had watched some of it, yes.
Do you think your game like immediately changed when you saw Jared in there and then Cirie?
I mean, yeah, like
How would that be different?
talk about expect the unexpected. I mean, like I didn't expect to recognize anyone, and I didn't expect that there would be like a Survivor legend. You know what I mean? Like that I know who she was, and like, oh crap, I also know that this is her son. Like, no, I watching the first episode back is like cringy to me. I'm just so laughing at myself for the eagerness, you know. But of course, yes, my game would have been completely different if only one of them was there or neither of them were there, you know. But that's also the beauty of these games, is you have no idea who you're going to be doing them with. And so, I mean, going in, I had ideas of how I would maneuver through the house, but not a specific strategy. And I think that's because I knew I needed to be spontaneous and just meet people where they were at and figure out my place based on who I was playing with. So this was definitely a unique circumstance for me, for sure. And I am stoked for all of the cast to find out, actually.
Oh my God, yes. Who do you think is going to be, who's going to be the most shocked?
Corey, hands down. Corey.
He's going to kick himself, right?
He's going to be so mad. And I honestly want to watch this episode with him, I think.
Oh my God. I mean, I'll give it to you. Like, I follow Cirie on social media. I don't know, like they look similar, but like, I don't know if I'd be like, that's Jared, your son. Like, that was good. How did you do that?
I don't know. I promise, like, I also like think it's pretty obvious that I'm like not comfortable on social media. Like, I'm not like a social media person, you know, that's like all about it all the time and like does the good stalking and like knows everyone's handles and stuff. Like, I don't know any of that. I don't know. Maybe it's just
that's even more impressive then.
I know. Yeah, I guess I don't mean to, I'm like not trying to like backwards compliment myself. I don't know why their faces stuck, right? I don't know. So
I love it.
Game mode. That's how.
Before we wrap up, I do want to, have you been, I know you're in New York. Have you been recognized yet? Is it weird?
I have. Yeah.
What do you do?
I mean, you know, I say hi. I mean, in the airport, it was actually really funny. I got evicted. It's Friday. I'm at the airport, flying home. I'm trying to buy a dongle for my phone so I can watch the live feeds. And this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Oh my God!" And then he says, "Oh no, I downloaded this week's episodes." And I was like, "Sorry to spoil it," you know. And he was just like, "No."
Oh my God.
And then we took a picture, and yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I got recognized at my favorite coffee shop yesterday in my neighborhood. Yeah, it happens. It's wild. It's a little bit weird. So
I love that though. Listen, I'm glad you had a good experience. Definitely take a break from those live feeds if you need it. It's a lot. But yeah. It was so nice chatting with you. Thank you for being here. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I told you I really enjoyed watching you, and I'm so bummed. Like, there was so much gold on the feeds that you gave us that the viewers at home did not see, you know?
I know. Those casuals, they just don't know what's up.
They don't know what's up, but they'll learn, because we're going to see you back, right, Izzy?
Yes. Please. Okay. Yes, please.
No, it'll happen. I have full confidence. But thank you, Izzy, for being here. For listeners, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next week.